What's up, guys? I'm AddieMula. You could have told somebody you started. What's up, guys? I'm AddieMula.
And I'm young Nonda.
And today, we are going to be talking to you about modernism! Woo! So, So what is modernism, you may ask? Nonda, the definition, please.
Modernism is the era that had a lot to do with tackling the social problem in the world regarding race. This decade can be recognized as a time where there was an abundant amount of exceptional literary writers and new movements. Poetry in this era revolved around debates and social protests. This era used a huge insight to what it means to be black. You know it. And their way of loving was seen through characters and stories and poems that were created by authors that we're soon about to talk about. They tackled situations and problems happening in the world during this time. Each author tackled their own problem, and the problems that they felt like they were dealing with at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Our first popular writer is
Richard Wright.
I said white.
He ain't white.
Again. Our first popular writer is
Richard Wright.
AddieMula, what are you doing on this?
No problem. So, Richard Wright. His form of writing was known and consisted of the greatest form of protest writing. He criticized the writings of the Harlem Renaissance group, and described the juvenile delinquents in the urban culture. He wrote his first story when he was only 16 years old, and later joined the Federal Writers Project. His most acclaimed novel, Black Boy, gave a moving and insightful view on life growing up in poverty as an African American in the South. Some of Richard Wright's most popular books, like I just stated before, was Black Boy and Native Son. Richard Wright was born September 4th, 1908, and died November 28th, 1960. That is our first author. Our second author is Ralph Ellison. Ananda, may you do the honors?
Yes, ma'am. Ralph Ellison grew up in poverty. His parents pushed him to succeed and try hard in academics, as we all should. Sacrificing everything to put him in the best schools, he eventually went to Tuskegee University, which is an HBCU I advise y'all to go, on a full music scholarship. During and after college, he grew an interest in writing stories. He went to New York and studied sculpture, and while he was there, he met Langston Hughes. Okay? And Richard Wright, who encouraged him to join the Federal Writing Project. Okay? His most popular book, The Invisible Man, was a novel that represented a far more advanced form of protest writing. It tied together social experiments and reflected an experimental attitude. Ralph Ellison was born March 1st, 1914, and died April 16th, 1994. Our next person is Gwendolyn Brooks. AddieMula. Oh, here's the picture. She's cute, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Gwendolyn Brooks was a poet. She began writing at an early age and has written over 75 poems by the age of 16. Like, what are we doing with our lives? What are we doing? She wrote 75 poems.
And I've written about 3 poems.
Like, same. Like, come on now. We need to do better. Yeah. She was born and raised in Chi-Town, Chicago, Illinois.
Oh, I shouldn't do that. I'm sorry.
Right. I'm gonna do that again.
We can put a disclaimer in there, and I'm just about to do something inappropriate.
where she was raised by a poor but very supportive family. She met Langston Hughes.
Langston Hughes!
Langston Hughes!
My boy Langston Hughes was around town.
Come on now. Who was a big inspiration for her to keep on writing poetry. Later in her career, she began writing for the Chicago Defender, which was one of the biggest African-American newspapers. She used vivid depictions of African-American urban culture. Her poem, Andy Allen, gained her a Pulitzer Prize, which was the first ever one awarded to an African-American. Come on now, Gwendolyn Brooks. Come on, Gwendolyn.
Gwendolyn!
Gwendolyn! Gwen! What, Gwen?
Come on, Gwen.
Come on, Gwen. She was born June 7th, 1917, and passed away December 3rd, 2000. So she had a pretty good life. Our next poet, my favorite person and author in the whole world. Ananda, you have the honors to read about. James Baldwin! This is his picture right here.
I'm sorry. Oops, sorry.
That's all right.
Oh, okay. James Baldwin is probably one of the most iconic writers during the modernism era. At a very young age in elementary school, he became very interested in reading and writing. He wrote plays and poems and short stories. With a very sophisticated literary skill that he obtained by himself. Okay? During his young adult years, James Baldwin took on a very... I can't read. Okay, it's okay. During his young adult years, James Baldwin took on odd jobs to support his family. He continued to write one of the most dramatic changes in the book. Hey, I can read. I'm just a little nervous. You know, like when they calling you at school to read and you don't want to read, and like you read the paragraph before.
Yes, or the lines will start mixing and you skip a line.
Or like,
I know y'all relate, right? Y'all relate.
Let's take a break right here. We're gonna pause.
Intermission.
Y'all ever like? Okay, I'm gonna need y'all to raise your hand. This is just gonna be like a little survey part of our video. When you're in school and the teacher's like, okay, everybody's gonna have to read, right? And they assign a paragraph to each person, and you like reread your paragraph until it's your turn to make sure you got it in your head, so you say
Girl,
it.
I've done that.
Right.
Or like when it's actually time for you to read, and you like see one word that you know you cannot pronounce, so you keep going over it, try to find all the syllables, try to pronounce everything. I know y'all have done that. Don't try to front and say you haven't. All right, because I know we have done that.
Yeah.
So y'all.
I hate reading in front of the class. Oh my gosh. Anyway, let's start over.
All right, back from intermission.
During his young adult years, James Baldwin took on very odd jobs to support his family, but he continued to write. One of the most dramatic changes in Baldwin's life was when he moved to Paris and took his writing to another level.
Paris,
girl.
Bonjour.
Oui, oui. He began to write about himself and his racial background. Something significant about James Baldwin is that he is a homosexual male and was very open about his sexuality. It was very important at this moment because interracial marriage and homosexuality was very, very controversial. And it wasn't talked about in that day and age.
Not at all.
James Baldwin was a literary leader. That's a literary leader during the modernism, realism, and naturalism era. He was born August 2nd, 1924, and died December 1st, 1917.
Now,
Girl. I want to know how he was born in 1924 and died in 1917.
We're gonna take a quick break and find out the date he was actually born. He died in 1987. December 1st, 1987, not 1917. Alright.
On to our next person. Our last person.
Our last and next person is Melvin
B.
Tosin!
Woo!
Here he is, here he is. Melvin B. Tosin was an American poet, educator, columnist, and politician. He had a lot of titles under his name. Come on now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 titles under his name. Under his name. Titles under his name. Under his name. Under his name. Hey. Alright, back to it. Being a poet, he was heavily influenced by modernism and the experience of African Americans. After interviewing significant artists of the Harlem Renaissance, Tosin was inspired to write poetry, the African American urban experience. One of Tosin's final poems was Harlem Gallery, which was published in 1965. It helped him establish a widely recognized modernist poet. So he was finally recognized as someone that should be recognized. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Most recently, actor and producer. Most recently, actor and producer Denzel Washington. Woo, my man. Not really. Like, I'm just saying, like, that's my dude. Like, Denzel. Okay. He captured Tosin in the 2000 film The Great Debate.
Did we watch that in class?
Did we?
I'm pretty sure we did. Remember that white man?
Was that The Great Debate? I mean, if we're not talking about the
I don't know, but Miss Garcia, I like that clip you showed us. It was real nice.
Real nice. Tosin was born February 6th, 1898 and died August 29th, 1966.
He's an Aquarius, the best kind.
Sagittarius, Now, we are going to move on to some of the top 5 events. Top 5! Alright, so the top 5 things that happened in the U.S. So, girl, did you know in 1941, Japan attacked Pearl Harbor?
I did know that one. I did know that.
Because Miss Brandt, right?
Because Miss Brandt. Thank you, Miss Brandt.
Yeah, thank you, Miss Brandt. Thank you for teaching us that.
That's cool.
Number 2, 1945 was the end of World War II. Come on.
I mean, fighting is never the answer.
Never the answer. We need to resolve.
Not unless you want to throw hands, because we could throw hands all day.
Anyways, number 3, 1954. Brown versus the Board of Education. The Supreme Court strikes down the idea of separate but equal. Because we were never separate but equal.
No.
But now we're in a time where separate but equal is slowly coming back, and we need to stop it.
Actually, it's coming back quick.
It's coming, yeah.
It's coming back real quick.
So y'all need to stay woke, okay? All right. Number 3, 1955. Montgomery bus boycott.
Yes,
That
come on.
Rosa Parks, my girl.
Rosa,
yes.
She said, who's moving?
She said,
because it ain't me.
nah. That ain't me. Nah. And the rise of Martin Luther King.
Yep, that's my papa.
Yep.
And I got proof too. But keep going.
And the last one, 1960. Nonviolent protest fighting segregation started to become relevant. So those are the top 5 things that happened in the U.S. Now, Ananda.
Yes, ma'am.
Could you read for us the top 5 things that happened in the world?
Of course, why not? So, the top 5 things that happened in the world were in 1940 was the first year of the Auschwitz concentration.
Girl. Auschwitz.
But it's all right. Forever. Okay. Auschwitz?
Yes.
In 1940 was the first year that Auschwitz concentration camp was open.
Y'all know what Auschwitz was, right? With Jews and Hitler. Lord.
I'm going with Hitler.
Lord, we thank you for taking away Hitler. But low-key Trump is Hitler. And we need to remove him from office. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Amen. Remove Trump. Remove him. Go on.
Okay. In 1948, Gandhi was assassinated.
Got my man Gandhi. No, Gandhi.
I don't know if y'all know about Gandhi, but you should. If you don't know, you need to know.
Open up your textbooks. Go on Google and learn about Gandhi.
Type in G, capital G. Don't get it twisted. H-A-N-D-I. And read about it. Okay. Then, the Soviet Union developed an atomic bomb in China during this time. Also, in 1953, the Korean War ends. Like I said, fighting is never the answer. But if you want to throw hands, we can do that. Okay. In 1957, the Soviet Union launches the Sputnik?
Yeah, Sputnik.
Okay. In 1957, the Soviet Union launches the Sputnik satellite, the first man-made object to orbit Earth. Okay? And that brings us to the end of our presentation.
Now, before we end, we are going to have a live session, and the real versions of us are going to walk into the classroom and start analyzing James Baldwin piece, The Fire Next Time, and a clip of a scene in
Raising in the Sun.
So, just sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the presentation. Thank you for joining us on this ride. We love y'all. Oh, you want to show them a picture?
Hey! That's the sound of the police!
Hey! Alright, we're gone, y'all. We're gone.
I'm gonna put the picture of me and my pop-pop in there.
No,
like, I'm gonna send it to you. You're gonna put it in there.
I'm gonna put it in there. So, yeah.
That's the sound of the police.
Don't mind us, y'all. Like,
girl,
she's at my house right now.
Look at my edges, girl. Let me tell y'all something. Let me tell y'all something before we end this. You see my edges, girl? Don't never be late like this at school. I don't know what's happening, but let me show y'all how I get these done. I'm gonna tell y'all. Wet it with water, right? Then you get the lower body edge control. You slick it down like this, and you know what? Y'all probably think I'm going off topic, but listen, we are in African American literature class. Therefore, African Americans need to know how to slick these edges so that they can write properly.
Yes, because listen, if your natural hair is not on point, then are you really on point? Like, listen, I know my hair looks like a nappy fro right now, but I want y'all to know something.
Look at this shrinkage.
Shrinkage is real.
This don't make no sense.
Shrinkage. That's like
disclaimer.
Like that's like shrinkage is a blessing and a curse. Like, you can fool people with this, okay? You can fool them with this. We want to thank y'all for joining us on this ride, and we'll see you guys if we have another project like this. We'll probably never, or we'll just see you guys in class and we'll sit down and yeah. All right. Peace. Bye. Make sure you say hi. Also, I want to tell you guys this. Do not ever disclude or not think about attending an HBCU.
Right.
Okay?
Please do it. If it's not an HBCU, you don't want it. I'm just saying.
I'm not going to.
I'm going to tell you that. And you wanna know why?
Why?
The times that we are in right now, we need to build each other up.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, y'all need to go to HBCU. You get surrounded by people that's just like you. You know what I'm saying?
And like, don't
around.
think that it's just black people. Like, honestly, it is black people, but it's a lot of other minorities, like Asians and Indians and Hispanics. Just to be in an area, just to be in an area that is just made for a group of people.